kitchen at Westminster, back in the kitchen. This week we're doing black bean burgers with roasted broccoli. You heard me right, black bean burgers. Skipping the meat and going black beans. This is fun. You think you're gonna hate it. I know, you're already thinking, ew, I'm not gonna like that. You will. Give it a try, okay? Picky eaters like these, good enough, that's all you need to know. Please, if you're thinking, I won't like it, get that out of your head, don't be a picky eater. Try them, okay? Try. I think you're really gonna like it. I do, and I kind of went into them thinking, I don't even wanna make them. And I like them, so I make them often. I still like to have a regular hamburger or a chicken burger, but throw this into the mix, eat them, you're gonna like it. Roasted broccoli. I like roasted broccoli because I'm prone to letting it sit on the stove too long and then it gets all flat and icky, stringy and horrible. Roast it, it's always right. That's all you need to do. You put it in the oven, you take it out, it's perfect every time. This is a great meal, super simple. You can make these and freeze them and take them out of the freezer in the future, if that's what you want to do. It'll make 6 good-sized burgers. Let's get busy. Right off the bat, this is my little compost bowl. I'll set it to the side for the moment. All I've done here is I took the beans, and these beans are, all the sales are at No Frills this week. The beans are on sale for $1.27 a can. So that's a great buy, right? It's a good time to stock up. And if you like making chili, the red kidney beans are on sale too. All I did was rinse them, and I've spread them out on a paper towel here on a tray. Just put on your counter or a cookie sheet or whatever you've got in the kitchen where you can spread them out. All we're trying to do is remove some of the moisture from them, just block them dry a little bit. That's all that's happening there. Next thing we're gonna do to get ready for making our beans is start up with the other things that go in. So I already had an onion on hand, I'm sure you do too. I've got a couple cloves of garlic. I didn't have to buy the whole thing, but you can often buy garlic for like a quarter if you buy 1 can. And the other thing is red pepper. Peppers are on for $2.97 a pound, which is a great buy at No Frills this week. And that was the only thing I need. Like I say, I had an onion, and if you don't, you're not going to be in much. You could use green onion. I like the white onion. Red onion would be okay. The trick here is we want to keep it small. Okay, you don't want it. Remember when you were growing up, did your mom make homemade burgers with big pieces of onion in them? Gross, right? Nobody wants that. You're not going to sell these that way. So we want to make it nice, fine onion. And for that matter, I'm not going to do it because I always worry I'm going to grate my fingers. But you can even get your stand grater, your box grater out and grate the onion right on there. I'm going to do this, it'll be easier. There. So if you have a box grater and you want to grate the onion, go for it. We want it nice and small. Pluck that little bit out of the center. There we go. We only need to use half. I'm just going to set that to the side. I'll wrap it up later. Now, nice and fine. So I'm just going to go nice fine slices one way and then chop the heck out of it in the other way. And we want it to be really, really minced almost, right? Watch your fingers though, okay? See that outside piece always kind of gets away from me. I don't know. I'm not gonna get it too much smaller right now, I don't think. Does that happen to you? It's the very outside ring. It kind of jumps, it separates, and then it slides apart. There. Okay, now, just go crazy. You just want to really chop it up small. You want to make sure that there's as many cuts in there as possible. Just keep pushing it back in, off the knife, and then again. Whoops, it's jumping. It's going to be one of those days. No, it's not. I'm only teasing. So, black bean burger, like I say, I mean, there's lots of different veggie burgers out there that you can mess around with. I like these ones, and you can almost always get a can of beans for in or around $1. So I'm right, like this is super, super cheap. The beans were on for $1.27 a piece, so we're in like $2.50 on that. I've got, the whole thing I think came to like $12 this week. It's not a super cheap meal, and it's delicious. 6 burgers. You're gonna love them. I know I keep saying that, but it's because if you've never had them before, there is a sort of a immediate idea of, I don't think I'm gonna like that. I think you will. Now, we can just scoop that into there. There we go. And I didn't even cry. Huh, that's good. That would have been embarrassing anyway. Our pepper, I'm just gonna cut the top off of it. And get rid of that little piece. And look at all the seeds in here. Holy macaroni. This is a beauty. Wait till you see. Wait till you see all of its potential. That is waiting to happen, right? And then just reach in there, pluck out anything else, give it a pat. There, empty, just like that. And again, we only need about half the pepper. So give it a cut. We're gonna wrap that piece up. I'm gonna use this because I can. So why wouldn't I, right? So I'm just going to, if you can hear little bits of noise today, it's because here at Westminster we've got a summer camp. And I've got the door closed, but they're kids, it's camp. They're having fun. We are not going to ask kids at camp to be quiet. I'm not gonna do it. And that's why their parents sent them here, was to get it out of their system for the day. So we will not be, we're gonna tolerate that little bit of noise. Anyway, it's the sound of kids having fun. That's a nice noise to hear. So just like the onion, we want the pepper to be nice and small. No chunky bits in the burgers, right? Like we want it to be, you know, not so that you need a knife and a fork to eat. It's gonna go on the bun. So keeping it small, make those nice small cuts in one direction, and then we're gonna do the same thing again and go the other way. And just chop it up. This pepper's strong. It's kind of splashing me a little bit, and it's got lots of good, I can smell it. It's strong. It's gonna be a good inclusion. Be a good one on a veggie plate. So the pepper's $2.97 a pound at No Frills. If you've got anything to do with peppers on your plan this week, then go and get them there. This is beautiful pepper. I try to look at the camera some, but I've got to remember to watch my fingers too. And we'll just do another couple of cuts, just trying to get it nice and small. And also by doing this, we get a lot of the moisture out of it. And I'll tell you what, one thing that people don't love about black bean burgers is if they get too mushy. That's why I'm trying to dry those beans a little bit, okay? Get as much of the liquid out of them as possible. We're not gonna need it, and it stops them from being, well, kind of, I don't even know. They get soft. I mean, they're not meat. So I think that looks pretty good right there. You can see they're just small pieces. That's what we want. And we can push that in there too. Now, oh, there's a straggler. I'm not gonna fret about that. I'm gonna let that go. That does not need to become an issue for me. The next thing we need in there, there it is. Okay, I got it there. Okay. I forgot my garlic rocker. Remember one time before I had it out and I forgot it today. So we're just going to do a quick chop on the garlic, okay? We're gonna live with it. I kind of hunted around, I couldn't find even a garlic press, so. One time I read something about peeling garlic and how you put it in your mouth and do it like that, and that sounds horrible to me. I was trying to find, like I looked up, you know, how to peel garlic, right? So thinking maybe there's a better way than this. And if that's the only better way is to put it in your mouth, I'm not interested. Ooh, right? Yuck. And then I kind of thought about that because you can, in the grocery store, I've seen little jars of peeled garlic, and I'm like, ugh, now I really am not into that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know, right? I found it online. We'll leave it at that. But yuck. Ew. Doesn't that sound horrible? I'm not going to use that big knife right now because I don't want to risk my fingers in these little tiny things. So we're just going to get some nice thin slices one way, and then we'll go at it the other way and try to get it nice and small. I'm sorry about forgetting my rocker. If you have a press or a rocker at home, use that because you'll get a much nicer fine grind. But we're gonna see what we can do. You need a little bit of garlic. That's the other thing is, there's no fat. These are like no fat. So you need to add flavor, right? Fat is flavor. I mean, people are, the low fat diets are super. They don't taste great most of the time. So look, that's pretty good. I'm gonna call that good enough. I'm gonna be happy. Okay, now that's all in there. There we go. That's our veg, okay? All good to go. Now, our beans. What we have to do is mash them. And I meant to mash them in there and I don't want to mash on top of that, so I will. Don't make this mistake yourselves, okay? Because then you're gonna have an extra bowl to wash. I know, probably not a really big deal, but here, I'm just gonna knock this out of here into this little spot to hold it for a minute. Sorry about that. You can set that right over there. Now, the beans, I've just got them on some paper towel here. And I don't know if you've ever made jam or anything that you had to mash. It's easiest if you just kind of do it one layer at a time. So, all I've got on my hands right now is some onion and pepper, and they're going in the same bowl, so I'm not gonna worry. So I've got about, I don't know, maybe half of them. And I'm just gonna make that like that. Got my hand towel here. Here's another piece of onion. I brought this from home because the masher here is super. This is the masher here. We do not need this much. When I use it, I put it on I get a chair from the other room and I put the chair here so I can put the bowl down there because otherwise I'm like this. So I brought this. Now if you have a food processor at home, use it, okay? I didn't want to bring in a food processor because I thought not everyone has one, so I wanted to make them today using what I know everybody has, a potato masher and a fork, okay? But if you have a food processor, save your arms, save your back, dump them in there and give them a go. Now you can see this and again, if you do it in layers, it's just easier to get through all of it. I can remember when I was a kid, my mom used to make freezer jam, and we do the strawberries, and then we do a layer and mash them, and do a layer and mash them, because you don't cook them for freezer jam. And fair warning, if you haven't ever worked with beans like this before, they're a little smelly. It's got its own smell. It's an organic smell. I always think it kind of smells like mushroom soup. I don't know, right? I don't know if that's true or not, but that's where my nose goes. Where my nose goes. And again, we're just going to throw some more in there. We don't need to beat ourselves up about is it perfectly mashed. A few bits aren't going to be an issue. You don't want, I mean, we're talking if there's 10% of the beans aren't fully mashed, who cares? But by and large, you're trying to do a pretty good job. And that, and we'll go another layer. Make sure you put that wet towel under your bowl to hold it still, because when you're doing this, the last thing you need is your bowl to go dancing across the table on you. Make sure you put your dishcloth or a wet towel of some sort under there. A sill mat, if you have one, will also do the trick. Oh, sorry, Shannon's reminding me again. Thank heaven she's here. Oven, I'm preheating to 400. Okay, thank you, Shannon. She reminds me every time because I start it up ahead of time when I get the kitchen organized, and then I'm notorious for forgetting. So you can see that's coming up pretty good. At this point, I'm gonna gather them up. Look how much water came off of them, right? Like this towel is pretty wet, and that's not in the burgers, right? I mean, you have to rinse them. So anything that's in this towel and on that tray is now not in the food. and that's what we wanted to get rid of. We can be done with that. We can set that since it's not on. and now we don't look at it anymore. We've got a lot of these cafeteria trays, and I'll tell you what, they're super convenient. If you ever can pick up something like that somewhere, do it. Lately I've been, my garden, picked a lot of strawberries in the last couple of weeks. And for freezing them, I took a couple of these trays home because in the past I had put wax paper or something down on a baking sheet and then spread the berries out on that to freeze them so they wouldn't stick to the baking pan. But if you use a plastic tray like that, you don't need to use any liner of any kind. They just come right off of there when they're frozen. So if you have something like that, there's my big tip for today, is use that. And they're also just handy. Who knew that they could be so convenient? Okay, this is gonna be noisy, I'm sorry. That looks pretty good to me. There's a few in here still. I'm gonna try to get them with the fork, which I have here. And don't waste any. Of course you're not gonna waste any. Especially not the stuff that's all mashed up, right? Been working hard on that. These are, like, we're practically done with this. And it's too simple. We've done the hard work with the slicing and dicing, and now with the mashing. Now we're just gonna mix it up and get it in the oven. I'm gonna be okay with that. Fork's a little more precise, so if you see any big ones in there that are still intact, just get them with the fork. They're mostly mashed up now. And that just finishes it. And now, because we have our fork, which, who are we kidding, is practically a whisk, we're gonna add the egg now. And you need an egg. You need an egg. It's your binding, right? It's what's gonna hold it together for us. So let's get that egg in there. I have one out. You only need one. There we go. And then we're gonna whisk it in. Okay. Now the next thing we're gonna do is put all that nice veggie we cut up back in here. And get that all blended in. Look at this, right? It's coming together so easy. A little bit of time on the cutting. Hardly anything. Nothing to get excited about. We'll use that one. There. Give my hands white. And just push it around. If you want to mix it all, I mean, you can see all we're doing is making sure that we've got a nice even blend. Okay. Now, we've done garlic, onion, pepper. What have we got here? We got our beans, we've got the egg, we've got the onion and garlic and pepper. So now we need half a cup of breadcrumbs. Just gonna do this. Half a cup of breadcrumbs. There you go. You can stick that over there. Salt and pepper. I do not want you to be shy about the seasoning, okay? Don't chintz out. We want that seasoning. I got out a measuring spoon today to give us a really good idea. Go at least a teaspoon of pepper, okay? And cover that back up. Salt. I know you're probably gonna think, Margot, it's too much. It's not. Go one and go almost two, okay? Trust me on this one. You want the salt. So 1.5 teaspoons. Paprika. If you don't have paprika, I mean some red pepper flakes or some chili powder, anything like that would do. You want to add a tiny bit of heat. And I think I wrote down 1 teaspoon. Yes, I did. And it's just to give it a little something. There it goes, in it is. And that's it. And then teriyaki sauce. So you can make it yourself with garlic and soy sauce and like that, or you can buy one. It has to be teriyaki, okay? Go teriyaki. Don't change your mind about that. I want 2 tablespoons. There's a tablespoon. I want to keep that though for later. So I'm going to call that 1, and I'm going to call that 2, and and that's going to be good for now. We're going to need that again later. Now, our fork can be retired from the process. Get rid of it like that. And mix. And again, we're mixing just like with any kind of burger mix. We're getting everything blended, and then we're going to form it into patties. Isn't this nice? This is not hard, and this is really, really healthy, not to mention super economical, and a nice change. It's nice to mix things up a bit and do different things, right? And that same old, same old. I don't know about you, but I get sick of it. We want stuff that keeps the dinner time interesting. Okay, so you can see this is just like any hamburger mix. See how it's just the right amount of gooey and everything's like that, right? Teriyaki is a nice side flavor in there. And I think I did this when we did the chicken burgers. Kind of flatten it out into a disc in your bowl. And then you can visually cut it into how many burgers you want to make. And it's easier than if you start scooping it out, then sometimes the last one is either huge and then you're sharing it around, or you get one little tiny one. So I try to just do that. Push that off, and that off. And then think half. It's not much of a half. We'll go half like that. We'll go half that's closer to half. And then we want 6 like that. Good enough. Now you're gonna get a little mucky, it's burgers. I mean, I'm wondering if I have, I don't. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper towel right now for my hands. I'm anticipating, wishing I had one. Okay, that can go there. Now, I hope everyone who watched the garden video last week, our garden video, has really looked at their yard and thought about what could I fit. Okay, you can fit more than you think. You saw, I just have a normal backyard, and you saw how much food there is in there. So now, once again, look at the buns you're going to use, and try to make a patty that will fill the bun, so that you don't get those bites on the edges with no meat in them. In this case, really no meat in them, but you know what I mean. I lined my pan with foil and I buttered the foil. These don't have fat in them, so we need to keep them from sticking. We butter the foil. And you don't have to use the foil. If you're happy to butter your pan, go for it. I use the foil because, as you know, I'm not interested in doing more dishes than I have to. I'm just making patties. This is easy peasy. Next thing we're going to do is get our broccoli ready. All of it will be in the oven for a grand total of 20 minutes. Who cares, right? This is so quick and easy. For a second. Actually, Shannon, if you want, we can go off camera. I'll finish putting these burgers together and we'll come back when I'm ready to start the broccoli. Okay, burgers are all formed and oven ready. Don't they look nice? They look good. And I'm not surprised. That came out like I sounded surprised that they look good. I'm not at all surprised. They always look good. Okay, broccoli. We're just doing the nice little, and we want to keep them about the same size. So if any of these come out looking monster-like, then we're going to have to cut them down a little bit. But we'll just, I'm not going to waste any. At the same time, if there's little tiny ones, I'm not throwing them out. And then just look at our compost bowl. This is a fantastic thing. Now, who was even a little bit surprised to see my amazing compost pile, right? And never mind, that's what makes the garden grow. So we're getting all of these in here. We can separate them around a bit. I'm going to cut that further. And there. So all of that can go in there. And that. This broccoli, by the way, on sale at No Frills for $1.97 a pound. So I asked them, they always put the bag together for me. Aren't they nice? And they really are. And I leave them a little list and they do the shop and I go back and there it is. And they're super kind there. I can't say enough about what good supporters they are of saving time. And they don't even cringe when they see me coming. So the $1.97, I asked them for a pound. So if you can imagine, $2 worth of, this is a $2 side dish. Who are we kidding, right? Like, there's not even anything to think about there. Now, if you're growing broccoli in your garden, I had some already. We got some out of the garden once, it was beautiful. And once again, if you are growing a garden and you end up with too much of anything, please consider reaching out to me, and I will find a way to use it here in the kitchen at Westminster and part of our food security outreach programming. I'm always doing things, and if we get a lot of something, away it goes. And it's never put to, I will use everything, okay? If there's anything you have and you feel like it, please reach out to me here. My email is so simple, it's just facility@westminsterorangeville.ca. Facility@westminsterorangeville.ca. There's our broccoli. This one is too big. There, that'll help. And then it breaks. So isn't that lovely? All I've done is give it a rinse in cold water. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Look at those little guys. And one more. A little bit of olive oil, whatever kind of oil you have is going to be fine. Don't sweat it if it's not olive. I'm gonna go about two tablespoons. That was very light. And salt. All we're doing at this point is salt. This is what aprons are for, in case you're not 100% clear on what aprons are for. It's not just for the cute look, okay? They're also for wiping our hands and stuff on. And some salt. That's all we're putting in there at this time. It's oil and salt. We're gonna garnish it further. I know sometimes I do the Parmesan before it goes in the oven. This time I'm gonna add the Parmesan at the end, okay? I don't want it on there to cook. And spread it out on a baking sheet lined with parchment. Sorry, that's a bad sound. And just push it around so all sides, if you can spread it out a lot, in this case it's better to get a bigger pan than what you think you're gonna need to fit it. If you spread it out, all the sides get roasted. Whereas if it's clumped up, then the centerpieces, not so much. There we go. And it's all up and ready. You're gonna put it in the oven. Everything needs 20 minutes in the oven. At the halfway mark, I'm going to flip the burgers. I'm not gonna come back on camera to flip the burgers. I'm gonna see you in 20 minutes. But know that at the 10-minute mark, we're gonna take them out, flip them over, put them back in. 20 minutes, we're gonna be ready to plate this meal. Okay. Now, I want my broccoli to get color, so I'm putting the burgers on the bottom and the broccoli on the top. At the 10-minute mark, I might push that broccoli around a little bit. We'll see if I'm in the middle. There, that's it. I'll see you in 20 minutes. Everything's out of the oven. I took the broccoli off of the sheet pan, and what we're gonna do now is sprinkle about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese on there. That's 3, and one more makes 4 for a 1/4. Now, broccoli loves pepper, okay? Broccoli loves pepper. So, I want you to think two teaspoons of pepper. Broccoli loves pepper. And then we're just gonna give it a little toss. It's warm, it's gonna adhere to it, it's gonna be lovely. And we're just gonna set that and leave that for a second, just as that. Look at our burgers. Look at how beautiful they are. Now, to put these burgers together, by the way, these buns, these nice big packs of buns, no frills, 2 packs for $4. Really good buy. Get your bun, set it up, get one of these burgers onto the bun. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to garnish each burger with about a tablespoon of our teriyaki sauce that we already put in there. So just put it on the top, and then if you have like a silicone brush, you can use that. Otherwise, that's what the back of a spoon is for. And just spread it around. And if you've got a little extra, put it on the bun. And then, to give it a little bit of an Asian feel, we've got that teriyaki top it with a pineapple. Look at this, right? Are you kidding me? How fun is that? This is a pretty sharp meal for, you know, 4 people for, did I say like we got 12 bucks in this? So $3 a person, hello. Not sure we can go wrong. And then a little bit of this beautiful, now the broccoli, when you know it's done when it's nice and tender, right? Like fork tender, starting to get brown on the plate, on the tray rather. And then you just put it like that. Look at this beautiful meal. You've got roasted broccoli and a black bean burger with pineapple and teriyaki. What a nice meal we've got. This is about $3 a person. Are you kidding me, right? You can't, I can't make this, like this is, I don't know what you can do for $3 a person, but this is, it's a beautiful meal, so economical. Couple of little housekeeping bits and pieces here. First of all, like the videos, please. When you watch the video, if you enjoy the video, like it genuinely. Don't just hit like. I want you to like it genuinely. So if you enjoy the video, please hit like. If you want to see more of them, subscribe to the Westminster Orangeville channel and hit the little bell so that you're notified when new videos show up. Also, sales go until next Wednesday, so that's the 14th. Get in there. These are great buys. You can put these buns in the freezer. If you make up the burgers, you can freeze them. All of these things can happen. These are really good buys. I will be packaging all of this up and feeding it forward thanks to the kind support of No Frills. We're able to do things like that here at the kitchen at Westminster. We didn't do anything here. We had a couple of tin cans, and otherwise we're just filling that green box and it's coming back to us as more food. If you make a habit of doing these recipes, consider sending me a photo of your meal when you do it. Send it to the email address I gave you earlier, and send me those photos and keep them coming. And if we get enough people participating and sending me pictures, maybe I can work on coming up with some kind of draw or something for people who are good followers and working towards getting economic food on the table in a short time. We were barely at, we weren't an hour today. I think we've been like 40 minutes total. I've even got all the dishes done. So there's that. This is super quick, super healthy, really nice meal, and it's coming in your own kitchen. You take good care. I'll see you next week.